500,000 left Florida in 2023, and radical politics is one of the major reasons. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, known for his controversial policies, based his presidential aspirations on Florida's supposed prosperity. However, a recent report paints a different picture, depicting the state as a pressure cooker of scorching heat, high living expenses, and divisive politics. In a recent interview with NBC News, Floridians, both new and longtime residents, shared conflicting perspectives on the state's vibe. Donna Smith, a former Tampa Bay resident of 30 years who relocated to Pennsylvania in December, lamented the loss of the relaxing beach community that she once cherished. She described the current atmosphere as constantly stressful, fearing it could erupt at any moment. Despite Florida's status as the second fastest growing state in the U.S., last summer with over 700,000 newcomers in 2022, there's also a notable exodus. A state's growth numbers only reflect new residents, but the real numbers are very different. Approximately 500,000 individuals left the state during the same period of 2023, highlighting the polarizing nature of Florida's appeal. Another major reason for people leaving Florida is increasingly severe storms and hurricanes that have led to skyrocketing homeowners insurance rates, with a staggering 42% surge last year, amounting to an average of $6,000 per homeowner. This is the highest in the nation. Car insurance rates in Florida stand at a staggering 50% higher than the national average. Coupled with home prices soaring by 60% since 2020 and one of the lowest median salaries in the nation, the state grapples with a severe affordability crisis. Addressing these pressing issues demands bold and innovative solutions. DeSantis, on the other hand, is fanning the flames in a culture war and fighting diversity and inclusion. I mean, really, though, these numbers are great news to DeSantis, even if you showed him both sides of the coin. You know, voter registration data indicates that during the pandemic, which I know is a little bit before these numbers, but it was the last time that they looked at it, 46% of new voters who moved to Florida were registered with the GOP.
Wow.
As Republicans, while only 23% of new people coming to the state were registered as Democrats.
Holy crap, that is staggering.
It is literally changing the political landscape of our state. So I don't think that he really cares about the people leaving, because it's
of course not. Because who are the people leaving? The people who are leaving are black, brown, or they need gender affirming care, right? And so these are the people that he wants to leave. So we're doing him a freaking favor. You know, I moved here in the 90s, and then I went back to New York, right? And then I moved back, and then I went to LA, and then I moved back. So I have seen how this place has slowly but surely become a New York, okay, when it comes to prices and stuff like that. You know, you'd be able to find a cheap rental somewhere in Alapata, somewhere in Liberty City, somewhere in any of those places. Anything is going for 3 times the amount that it used to just a few years ago, right? My homeowner's insurance was $2,600 3 years ago. It is now $5,100, okay? My wife is a nurse and has 3 jobs. I work here. All right. So understand, I went to Publix the other day. I bought 3 things. It was $65. Okay. Yeah. Our car insurance used to be super cheap here in Florida. Yeah. It is not anymore because of our flooding and our storms and all that kind of stuff. This place, exactly what DeSantis wants to happen is what's happening according to these statistics. And he never says the people who leaves. He constantly says, what a building, what a huge movement we have. We are the most growing city ever, the most growing state ever. We're growing because people like us are having to leave.
Right. Yeah, and I was going to point straight to that. Gentrification is a huge problem in South Florida and many major cities. As we can see in Miami, like you were talking about, Alapata, Liberty City, all of these, Little Haiti, all of these places were affordable places to live. And now the median rent in Miami for a 1-bedroom is $3,000. That is absolutely astronomical. Where do those poor people who usually are marginalized, black, brown, trans, Latino, all of the things, where do they go? They have to leave. They have to go away. And then when you're instituting policies that literally speak against their own existence, now you have you're like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this shit. I'm going to have to find somewhere else to go. And it's so sad that here in Florida, it's a beautiful place to live. I am from Miami. I am a native person who born Jackson Memorial Hospital. And I'm looking at my counterparts having to leave the state because of these things.
Yeah, our own friends, our own, people that we know, and parents that have to leave just to get their kids the right care that they need.
Right.
LGBTQ plus kids that can't, and even adults that are needing this gender affirming care that we no longer are going to be able to support and give.
Well, the only Florida exodus I want to see is Republicans relocating to Alabama or Mississippi. They can have Alabama and Mississippi.
Texas, they can have Texas too.
They can have Texas.
Let's not say that, because there's still people there we should care about too.
Republicans?
Get them out.
No, but the people who are also suffering in those states at the behest of similar governments. But I want to go back to what you were saying though about there, especially for the parents who need to leave to get their kids healthcare. There's another side as well that's education. I've talked extensively about my boyfriend being a teacher because I'm very proud of that and very proud of him. But not an
easy gig,
especially in Broward County, Florida. Being an openly gay teacher is a very difficult experience, and that's only one part of it. But there's a whole other part of it that goes into the education itself, right? Like the government isn't investing in certain types of education.
No more Black history.
And so you're also losing the professionals, right? You're actually not getting people, the best teachers don't want to teach in Florida. So now him as a young teacher, we have a conversation, do we need to leave Florida so he can teach in a district where for his career, he can get better experience and get the career experience that he's deserving of as a young gay man in education.
For his future as well. And it's sad that he even has to have that conversation with you.
And then balancing that with, but then if he leaves, he feels like he might be abandoning these young queer kids who he serves as a role model for.
Right.
Yeah, so he must stay. Like me, I'm staying with the ship. You're going to have to drag my freaking brown lesbian ass out of here.
I am too, because I'm from here. So I am too. And also, can we talk about the climate change? Can we talk about last year, the Gulf Stream was the hottest it ever was on record. It was damn near boiling temperatures, and it has killed our coral reef, marine life. We have a Category 5 hurricane hit the West Coast and take Sarasota almost completely out. And you talked about insurance prices. My homeowners insurance in 2023, y'all ready for this, was $12,000.
Wow.
Was $12,000.
My car insurance tripled when I moved. In New Jersey, my car insurance was $196. I moved to Florida and went up to nearly $600. I had to have them lower me to the most basic insurance to make.
Well, you're also 11, Papi. So once you get to a certain age, it'll be a little bit lower.
It was $196 though.
Yeah.
So I was
and he was 11 in his former state.
Yeah.
Right.
So
crazy.
So we also have to talk about climate change. I mean, we're right now,
global warming is real.
Total solar eclipse is a great conversation to bring in that climate change is real. And despite what conservatives and Republicans want you to believe, that you can see it happening outside of our front door.
Yeah.
Last year in April, Fort Lauderdale had the most intense rain that they have ever seen in 1,000 years of ever human recorded history. Over 100 inches of freaking rain in Fort Lauderdale.
So many people lost their homes.
So many people. And Broward House had to refill beds and ask for new donations
they still haven't opened
because of the rain that happened almost 1 year ago.
Yeah.
That was a freak storm from one night. That was crazy.
But those kinds of storms could become more frequent.
And can become more frequent. And they just announced that this is going to be the most epic hurricane season we have ever seen in human recorded history. They just released that data. Also, they have released the data that last summer was the hottest on record and will be the coolest on record for the next 25 years. So batten down the hatches. Get ready for what is about to come.
And we're just about us. I mean, look, like God, wasn't there an earthquake in New York?
4.8.
New Jersey.
4.8. And an aftershock, which I went through a small tremor in New York. This was probably about 10 years ago, and it was maybe a 3 point something. This one was a 4.8, and they had an aftershock of a 4.2. We've never seen really an aftershock in major places like New York or the Tri-City area or things like that. So we're just really, the earth is earthing, and the earth is ready to earth on us this year.
And then y'all wonder why Gen Z is aging worse than millennials.